Good morning, guys. Today I'm talking about the uptake in living in your car or your truck, your vehicle, and even showing examples of people who have been doing it for a while now and what they have come to put together that will make their life easier. And so you can scroll all day on TikTok or on YouTube and not come up with the same things that I've been able to come up with because it's such a long list of people who have made this decision based on since 2020 when COVID hit and there was such a big uptake in things being so coming apart as if the rug has been pulled from up under us, right? And it's just like all of our stability was just like, whoa. I remember it was like three people in my community, right in my direct community that I could see, because this is a very big community, but that in my community where people been living here for 10, 20 years and their children, go to school over here. This is a school a private school community. And they actually up and left people with their own businesses who had went out of business when that hit, and we've been trying to grapple with getting things back on track since then. And so I'm going to start this rolling as I speak because I have it on um mute. So you can sort of get a feeling of how someone has actually there we go, somebody who had actually pulled all of their seats out of their car. Now, as we go along, I am going to turn it off of mute, but in this particular example, for it being so long and really not needing the him talking, and you could just sort of see, I can actually finish my making my point, and you can see for yourself some examples of what people are doing to try to save money, get out of debt, where it's been also uptake now in the price of living and also in um, the cost of different apartments and people deciding they want to buy their own home or live in a tiny community or just trying to sort of uh feel like they're ahead of the ball because you know of there was once upon a time you have a good bank account, you got stocks, you got bonds, and your children are off to college, you already got that money put to the side. You got you have your monthly such that you're going to keep for things that might come up, and then you also have your savings. But even with having all those things these days, and a lot of stuff come up that are unforeseen, unforeseen things, and also with things changing so drastically since 2020 and up and down and everything, um, price of gas and everything, it's just like you know, in this economy, you want to stay ahead of the ball. So as you see, they're sure to show an example of how this particular man, he had took out everything except the driver's seat out of his vehicle, and he had made him a tiny home in his vehicle. And later, I'm also going to have on there a listing from a police officer who tells the best places to park to not get to do stealth parking, the best places to do stealth parking, and also the links of the person. I'll tell outright after the person makes his presentation that I'm putting up here. Now, with this, a lot of times people do the solar panel on top, and they charge most stuff, but I also have someone in here who has done a water system and a shower and also a toilet inside their vehicle where they can stand up in a Prius. And that example will be up here as well. And so I'm going to turn this up and let him speak for now.
Next to a Matrix, uh, the Pontiac Vibe. There's a whole bunch of these little cars about it, and everything that you're seeing here should apply to all of them. There's a spare tire here that's going to be universal, and the spare tire is still there. So it's just a whole lot easier. And what to do with a spare, you got to have a spare. So it was easier just to leave it here. But my friend did find there was a fair amount of storage to use on the sides. So next, again, this is going to be the footwell here, and so that's going to be a lot of space, and it just pops up, and then you have space under here, and then all the space underneath there. You can see my friend has got a little box that he's storing stuff in. And again, the car is not being lived in now. I'll show you being lived in a little while. Now, this, of course, is where there was the most space because the front seat was here and the deep wheel wells. So there's a lot of space here. So again, just you lift that out, and then this one lifts out, and all that space, man, that is just an enormous amount of room. You can see there's a lot. So this is the kind of thing my friend's going to use. These kind of like fabric, so they weigh nothing, they organize, and he can get quite a few of them in here, and they just pop in and slide out of the way, and then you got good organization and good and zero weight. I mean that thing weighed nothing. It's just fabric, and here it will work really really well. So it's just an amazing amount of space and storage. The average, believe me, the average person can do this. And if not, hopefully you can find someone with a little bit of skill to do it. So just real neat. And then the bed goes across here. So my friend likes a really hard bed. And so he just has these full pads that he has covered and they lay out. And this is the bed. And my friend is planning on putting in a fridge, a 12-volt compressor fridge. She's got plenty of solar, 180 watts of solar, and I'll show you all that here in a minute. I wanted you to see it completely empty and open because it's stunning how much room there is in here. And my friend will then store things up and sit on it. He's my height. I'm 5'8". He's about my height. And so he can actually sit on these and not touch his head. So this kind of becomes his chair, and he just leans to get back against it. And I'll show you all that later on. Okay, so next we'll put everything back in, and you'll see it's an amazing home. So my friend wanted lots of lights around here. These are LED lights, and he's glued them to half-inch PVC, which goes around. He had to have somewhere to mount them to, something to mount them to. And so these work really well. You can see it lights it up very nicely here. None of it's overwhelming. You're not looking right into a bright light. It's really, really nice. Links to everything in the uh, in the description. So, like most these LED rope type lights, they dim and they're a very pleasant light. So let me give you an idea of how my friend organizes the back, because without in a tiny space like this, you got to be pretty organized. My friend found these on Amazon. They're just a cardboard box
Here at
with wrap
Walmart as well in the 4 pack.
perfectly. They're cheap and light and strong. It's really surprisingly strong. And then you found these at a local Home Depot, and they were kind of scrap. And you pick these up. They are floor time, and they fit in there really nicely. And then on the next, you found these at also at Amazon. Description. And look how organized that is. And again, it's cardboard, a dense cardboard with fabric. The organization is movable. It's just really a very clever look
Again, Target, Walmart,
that together
find them
fit
there.
perfectly right there. And the other one goes in perfectly right there. And so it's really neat and organized, weighs nothing, and it's just perfect. Now, of course, it's going to go flying if we don't bungee it down. So now I'll show it bungee down. So there are a couple of luggage hooks that this particular little tiny car happened to came with, and so my friend just grabs those. Now that's pretty loose. You might think that's too loose. However, my friend also organizes his bed. I showed you the bed, and so the bed just goes here. This is how the driving mode, daytime and then driving mode, all the different parts and pieces of the bed go in here. And so there is driving mode. So that's the two pieces of the bed. And my friend then takes the other two pieces and sets them. So look, this is kind of a perfect little chair, isn't it? But now my friend works on computer, and that's why how he can live in his little tiny car and travel. Is he is a digital nomad, and so let me show you what he uses for a desk. So, like I said, my friend is a digital nomad. He had to have a comfortable desk, and you can see up at height, it's very tall. This is works really well for him. It's height adjustable. It goes up or down flat, either one. He needs to have power for his devices. And like he found this thing, and so this has three USBs and a fast charge USB C. So that's really nice. And it has I mean, this is just a power break. This is an inverter. This is just power pass through, but that works really, really well. And so you can see that's a pretty comfortable place to work. Now, let me show you the solar. Well, he just found on Amazon these two 80-watt panels that between the two of them fit perfectly. And so he has two 80 watts, total 160, and they are the flexible. And he's aware that the flexible tends to
Those
not
are
last
not
very
very costly.
long.
They're very
And the MC4 goes
reasonably
on,
priced.
course, down in through
You can find
just
those at Home Depot.
is these flexible panels don't last all that long. He put a piece of coroplast under here, a piece of white coroplast, and the idea is that it will give a little bit of space between the panel and the coroplast, and that the coroplast itself is like like cardboard, so it's got all these grooves in it. He's hoping that will cool it better. I think personally that one of the reasons that these flexible panels,
So you all have a pretty good idea starting off. I wanted to fast forward past that part.
because of course with a
Really
storage
wanted to
space,
get
you got
into
really organized. So everything fits under here and
how the
easily
tiny home.
reach grab down here and grab this. It's all organized in little containers.
Now, I know that it's not idea, of course, living in a car, but also, let me get that in there too. Also, we gotta understand that some people have come into a lot of debt, a lot of people. It's pretty pricey to live, and there's a lot of programs that have been cut out. And, this looks like, you know, this has been a big project over time or whatever. But also, it's a lot of people that are working that are living in their cars right now. It's not like, these people are naturally homeless, and that's just their lifestyle, or that being on drugs or alcohol has gotten them kicked out of their primary residence. This has been uh, from the economy, and also the unpredictability since, the economy has been going up, since 2020 throughout. But also, a lot of programs being shut down has caused a lot of having to rearrange um, your priorities and use your credit card in a lot of times where it was just using it for emergencies, now being used more regularly. And so, even though this looks like a big project, I tried to find ones that was very um, easy to put together that was the least costly, that was not some big um project that took 4 or 5 years and the person been living like this all the time. This is a short-term project this person had put together under, being gone within the past couple of months they put together. And like I said, I will have the links by the end of here. I will let you guys know all of the names of the creators that you can go and find and look at the furthering of their journey. As I said, I'm also going to have where a young lady is living alone. And see, some people are doing this as, just leisurely camping. But those are sometimes really good examples of different things people wouldn't think of that's just doing stealth living because they're thinking in a uh, being outside of any resources. So therefore, they're going to have things there in their vehicle that wouldn't be just the normal, just daily trying to live. And so I also have a lady who is one of the biggest examples of what's going on now, where some veterans are on their monthly um, Social Security, and that's all that they have. And a lot of times it's like $800, and that puts you out of a lot of apartments, and also, um, if you're not getting certain help, then it's also, you got to make a decision on different bills and eating. So a lot of people wanted to get ahead of the ball and they decide they're going to buy them a home instead of renting an apartment. They're going to get into a tiny home community, start becoming a minimalist now, and start absorbing the lifestyle. And so I think that this has been a great example already, and up is coming is going to be my next example of what oh wow, you too. I have another example of what the $800 of a woman. So I'm gonna have to go to my library here. Also, the not only is it the price of living that is going up, also a lot of people have been turned off of the um has been turned off of food stamps. And a lot of people have been living on food stamps that's got to meet a certain, let me pause this. They have to meet a certain, they have to meet a certain, meet certain amount of hours working or going to school or community service. They also have to, it's, you have to go reapply, even if you meet um, everything that they're asking for. Everyone has to reapply because of some kind of something happened with the system. So everybody has to reapply. It was so much fraud taking place where they don't know who is who and they want to run everybody else through. And this was announced back in February, remember? When they first, no, I'm sorry, January, when the government first shut down. And so I do want to read this here scripture from Second Thessalonians, and that's 3 and 10. I'm sorry, 3, 9, and 10. Not because we have not power, but to make ourselves an example unto you to follow us. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Guys, from the eyes of an empath, we are in a new world completely. That's the best way I can put it based on how big everything has changed. So many things has changed. And we have to, which a lot, I have seen so many people putting on their survival gear, survival mindset, survival saving, and even in here where some people haven't been had not been um what's those called preppers. You'll see a lady in here who decided to become a prepper because of all the big changes in everything that's been leading up from the Bible. And as I uh, look at things, men's hearts have become colder. Um, the things that have been stated in the Bible, the further along they get, things have been the further along they get, things have been um really coming to a head. So many people have been awakened. So many people have been knocked down off of their uh, imaginary throne. People who have not treated people right um, in their rise. You know how a lot of people rose to the top by, you know, not saying everybody, but a lot of people rose to the top, stepping on people to get up there, or doing things that aren't um nice to get there. And a lot of people, it's been like a change of guards, so to speak. A lot of people are going down, a lot of people are going up. And a lot of people that are up already has had the pre notion to eliminate debt, start saving, decided their change of living would be not paying monthly for something that wouldn't be theirs in the long run. Or, some people just want that free living, and this is the way that they have decided to go. So, this is not your average. A lot of people, yes, can go to shelters, but like I was seeing where it was a couple of people being reviewed, was the fact that they don't feel they should be told the time to go to bed if they're not in jail. They don't feel that they should be told, what time to get up and what time to leave if they're on their day off. And they feel like a certain amount of their dignity have been stripped from them. And some people just outright don't want to not be able to drink or whatever they do because you can't, because they do a breathalyzer test every day you come in. So um there are, if I mean, believe it or not, it's a lot of room left in a lot of shelters, even with the uptake of people living in their car. It's a lot of room left in shelters based on a lot of the type of people who have decided to not pay that extra rent because rent has went up in a lot of places, and sometimes almost double depending on where you live, like New York and Texas. And so I'm going to show you guys example of uh, someone who would be the least likely that you would think. So, so
Not a good luck. No, it wasn't. And because you have been a person who traveled and was transient, this appealed to you. I always loved camping. Out of my five, there were five of us kids, but out of the five, I think I loved the camping. I did it when I was raising my kids, took them camping all the time. I love camping. So the lifestyle is wonderful. I love it. I love the freedom. I love the fresh air. I love the camaraderie, I think you say it, meeting people, finding other people that are just like me. You don't find that in the city. Yeah. So,
another thing is there has also been an uptake. You know how they have the um, trailer park communities in a lot of cities, they because you can't park on the street that's become illegal. So a lot of cities have open land where you can where they have the electricity pole or whatever, and they just only rent for you to come park on their land so you have a steady place to park. And like I said, I'll have a police officer coming on soon to say all of the way where places to safely stealth park in every city that you would never think of. So this is also a piece of land I believe that she's on, but if it's not her, then it's definitely gonna be uh, a couple coming up in here. So you get through it.
yeah. And so this was the car you had. Right. It's a Pontiac 2005 Pontiac Grand Am. It's a six cylinder and four door. And I really did have to do some changing to make it work. So, well, so far, it's like a month. About a month. And you're still too early to know, but so far, so good. So far, so good. I'm good. I'm determined I can do it for a few years in this. I'd like to upgrade to a van and become a van camper, but in the meantime, this is the way I have to live, and I'm not unhappy about it. Yeah, because you're a nature girl. Right. Anyway. Right. Okay. Well, let's take. How do you the you know this car you'll pass, and then a couple questions that I know everyone's going to ask when you live in a car. You support yourself with Social Security check. Yeah. And how to go to the bathroom. Well, it's hard in a car, so you really have to work it out. I have two things. I have a pee bucket, basically, which I do not line, and I do have a lid for it, and I actually kind of covered it with a soft lining because women don't like to sit on these hard plastic things. Then I funnel it into a 1 gallon. Oh, sorry, Dolly. That's my dog, Dolly. I funnel it into a 1 gallon water jug. Mhm. Um, and then I dump it where it needs to be dumped. Um, for the other job, number two, basically poop. Well, I have another bucket that is the same size that I sit into that bucket, and I line it with a good plastic bag, and I do my business. And then I take the business and I twist it and I fold it over again and I twist it again and I fold it over again. I do about 4 times and then I put it into a Ziploc bag. So there's no smell. Right. And I don't have to think about it after that. I'm done. Right. And exactly what I do. It's quick and it's convenient. And then I dump it when I get to somewhere where I can. If it gets uncomfortably like too much, then I'll go ahead and find a place to take it. Right. But it really hasn't been a problem at all. Um, and the other thing I did when I set up my car for this is I made sure that I had a bench. A lot of your vans can use 5 gallon buckets. if I use a 5 gallon bucket, you're going to see my rear end in the window. Right. I have a 2 gallon bucket. Right. Which is perfect. And I put a board. I don't know how if you want me to describe how I set this up, but well, you took out. Looks like you took out the back seat. I took out the passenger seat and the back seat, and I built a wooden frame. And I put a 5 inch memory foam mattress on there. I cut it down. I bought a twin size and I had to cut it all down. But it fits really nice and it's the full length and it only goes to the trunk. So I still have my whole trunk available. And then I built a wooden seat here and I have a pillow up there that actually sits on this as a cushion. So you lounge right here. I can lounge there. I can set my bucket on there. I can bathe. If I have to be in my car, I have a 1 burner butane stove that I can sit because that bench is very stable. I can sit this stove on there and I don't have a problem with the wind and I can cook. And I don't know if you got the propane heater there. I see. Mr. Buddy. Yeah, and the only thing you have to do when you have a Mr. Buddy in a car is you have to make sure that you have about 3 inches of air ventilation. Now that Mr. Buddy will burn me out. Right. 5 minutes is all it takes to heat up my car. And I use Reflectix um, on my windows. I didn't really need the Velcro, but I'm using it. But if you're going to use Velcro, you need a stronger glue because the glue on the back of Velcro is terrible. Mm. So I just cut them to shape. One of the things that I did with my car, because it's going to be my hidden home, is that when I took my seats out, I took up the carpet and put reflective under the carpet so that the floor is not pulling up a lot of cold. Right. You have reflective center. Right. Underneath the rug. Right. And then one of the other things that I need to do, and I didn't do it, but I just put plastic between the bed and what have you in the trunk. Took out some of the cold from the trunk. I will eventually put a board there that can also convert into a table because I will make screw on legs. The little basket over there in the corner, one of the hardest things to do is when you're going to bathrooms to find the toilet paper in a car. Yeah. So that's where I keep my wipes and my toilet paper hooked in a basket and bungeed to one of the little hooks up there. And what's the tarp for? And the tarp is just between the seat and the trunk. It should be a board, but right now it's a tarp. Right. So kind of insulation? Yeah, to keep some of the cold from
Mind you, she just started with this month.
it. I was showing from the other side. Yeah, we see it from the okay. Well, take me off the passenger seat and the back seat. Really opened it up. It made so much room in here. I mean, that is almost 24 inches wide. So just in the house that I was in, I had a 24-inch wide bed, believe it or not. So yeah, but what I have here is a memory foam mattress that I covered with a wool. I made this myself. I just took a wool blanket and sewed it over it. So nothing really sticks or, sometimes the foam, it kind of causes everything to not move. Mhm. So this moves and I just put a regular sheet on it and tuck it under. And then here's the board. I use 2x2s and 1/2 inch plywood. And I'm not sure if I can do this, Bob, but this is interesting. Um, I don't do this often, but incidentally, you can use this for storage also. I mean, for putting things under the mattress. So I have lots of things under here. I have a flip up. I have it actually hinged or coming up this way, right, so that I can get in. Right there. Under there is my clothes. This is my dirty clothes and my medications because I take a few.
She gave her dirt to you.
There's a lot of cubbies you can stuff things in.
It's very creative. I mean, my goodness.
Um, Under here, I have a ton of stuff. I crochet. I have a toolbox up there on the front. I have a bag with crochet, yarn, needles, and stuff. I have a sewing box here. I have all my propane bottles under there and a little bag with my dog's toys and jackets and what have you. And then on this part, actually, that screen tent over there fits in there, and my lantern with the case also fits in there. Oh. So it's just a ton of room under there to put things. Um, I don't have a bunch of electricity or electrical products. So I found a 5-watt solar kit. Doesn't have the battery pack or anything. So I just plug directly into it and charge my iPad and my cell phone. Right. Has both a lighter plug and a USB.
Mm.
I have a 150-watt power inverter that I plug into my cigarette lighter or this, and I have electrical plug on that with the USB that I can use. I have two solar lights. One is the, what's it called? Lucy? The Lucy light, which was $15 at Walmart. And it makes the inside of that car so bright I couldn't believe it. I just got it yesterday. I have another light that I bought on Amazon for $10. It's a three-way light. You can operate it strictly on solar, just charge it up every day in the sun, and you've got light for 8 hours. Or I can plug it into USB to charge it. Or I can put batteries in it. So it's wonderful
You
because
can
it's
also purchase that at Target, Walmart, that solar light. Decide how many watts you want.
the inside of the car. I have tons of room. Oh yeah, look at that view.
Hmm. Like a pantry.
What I do have is my camping kitchen, but it is full up to the size of this rectangle, about 5 inches deep. And because of my handicaps, I can't do a lot of squatting and bending. So I'm able to stand there and so my screen tent was about $40. I think I bought it about 12 years ago. It's a 2005. 2005. Yeah, it's what you have. Yeah, it's what I have.
So moving on, as you see, he also has a tent to stretch out during the day.
So
That's where she is going renting on land, you see. Let's move on to the next one. Uh-oh. You get the basic idea because she's about to get ready to move on to the tent. What I want to do now is go to the officer who talks about stealth camping and not camping, but stealth living in your vehicle. Because a lot of people and a lot of cities don't have the luxury of, oh, YouTube. Let's go back to YouTube. Okay, now I'm gonna go to, spend a lot of time on several, on the couple of those because I really wanted to also not only bring up the fact that people are, that's been an uptake in that, but I also wanted to bring up the fact of giving tips to people who are. When you see this title, it make you can see these creators as I'm flipping through, but I want to go straight to him, Jason Hansen, and let you guys check him out. I have him right on the place. So
I'm trying to hide.
you're right.
So one place, just leave your car. Hotel parking lots. I was trying to think the last time I did this. When I was in college, many moons ago, my buddy and I drove to Florida, all the way from Virginia, which is where I went to college, and we were going to, I think it was Daytona Beach. We were meeting a bunch of people there, and of course, we're knucklehead college kids. We didn't plan ahead. We got there, all the hotel rooms were sold out. I remember this. A guy was renting tents. It was something like $400 for a tent to sleep in it, and as broke college kids, there was not a chance in the world hotel, we were spending $400 on a tank. So we spent the night in our car in the Holiday Inn parking lot. Of course, hotels are great because they're usually lit and there's people coming and going at all times. So you don't want to stay in like the world's dumpiest, nastiest, like trash-ridden hotel because you may get robbed or mugged or whatever. So stay in a decent place of a hotel parking lot. Okay, number two best place, 24-hour gyms. It amazes me how cheap gym memberships are these days. $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month, 40, 50, or whatever. I mean, anything less than $100 is cheap in my eyes. And for the 24-hour gyms, of course, the benefit when you sleep in the parking lots is people coming to go at all time, but also they have showers. So you can go clean yourself up. You can go brush your teeth. You can do all that kind of stuff. So if you're going to be living out of your car, hopefully you're not, but I know young kids these days think it's cool and fun or whatever, and definitely a young person's game. But if you're going to be living out of your car, is yeah, spend the $50 or whatever it is to get a 24-hour gym membership, and you get one of the big chains, which means you're traveling all over the big chain. You can access any of them. Okay, number three, best place, churches, church parking lots. I live in the state of Utah. There's a million and one churches every corner, every parking lot. I mean, every place you go. So if you spend the night in a church parking lot, even if somebody sees you, it's a church. They're probably not going to do horrible things, meaning attack you or threaten you or whatever. They may say, hey, you can spend the night tonight, but you've got to be on tomorrow. Or they may say, hey, why don't you come in and get some food on us and you can spend the night for the next 7 days. So consider church parking lots usually a safe place to be. Okay, number four, truck stops. Truck stops are great. Again, people are coming and going at all times. You can go in and use a shower if you need to. Choose a truck stop, which is a larger truck stop. So a Love's, or my friends who live in the South love Buc-ee's. They think it's the greatest place in the world. I've been once and it's Walmart for truck stops. But anyways, so go to a nicer, larger truck stop. Don't go to one in the middle of nowhere off the beaten path where nobody's coming in and out because those are the ones that are more likely to attract criminals because there's not as many people around. So go to a busy truck stop. That is number four. Okay, number five, kind of like truck stops, but rest stops. So in most states, as soon as you cross the state line, they got a rest stop. Depending on, is it one that looks nice or one that looks like it hasn't been used in 100 years and a serial killer's there. So you got to play it by ear. You got to trust your gut, trust your instinct. My wife, for example, every time we pass that state line thing, she wants to pull over, get a picture in front of the sign, make sure we get mowed down by some semi. So we go to rest stops a lot. And me, I wouldn't mind spending the night in one if I had to. So add that to your list. That's number five. Okay, number six is BLM lane. For those people who live out west like I do, you know what BLM is. Probably don't like them. Bureau of Land Management. You East Coasters, you have no idea what BLM land is. But most of the land out west is.
I want to add that a lot of people these days that do decide to live in a car, it becomes a source of income because a lot of them become um, creators, or should I say, a lot of them become, a lot of them actually start a channel of their own. So
To spend.
something to think about too, you know.
Okay, number seven, Walmart parking lot, an oldie but a goodie. I love Walmarts because I get everything I need there. I told my wife all I need is a Home Depot and a Walmart when I moved to our small town in Utah. My wife needs a Target. I tell her Walmart and Target the same thing. And apparently telling a woman that is like blasphemy. So Walmart parking lot, most of them are 24 hours. They're not going to bother you. You can go inside and get food and get whatever you not need. So it's easy, it's convenient. So consider the Walmart parking lot. Okay, number eight, renting a spot. We live in the rentable economy. You can rent anything these days. I mean, who would have thought that we're going to go stay, not me, but most people are going to go stay in a stranger's house with Airbnb, or they're going to go get in a stranger's car with Uber. So you can go on Craigslist, you can go on, I'm sure there's multiple apps out there that I don't even know about, where you can go rent a spot. Like, hey, I want to rent this parking spot in this person's backyard or front yard for $50 a month, or I want to do this and that. If you're going to be staying somewhere long term, renting a spot makes more sense. Obviously, if you're just floating around, you don't want to do that, but something to consider. All right, where are we at now? Nine or 10? I think we are at nine. Okay. Nine is simply a parking garage. So yes, you have to pay for some parking garages. Don't go into a sketchy, dangerous parking garage. But I mean, if you live in a place like, I mean, and the good news about parking garages, let's say you're going to a casino in Vegas. I go to Vegas all the time, not for gambling, but for business. But you've got security going around there too. And I don't mind that if security's around there because if I'm parked and maybe I have my seat down, that security, even though it's good to have security, they're not sticking their head in every car worrying about stuff. So consider a parking garage. Okay. Number 10 is simply hospital parking lots. Hospitals are great. because, well, you get hurt, you're right there. But in all seriousness, people coming and going all nights. I have 7 kids. I'm pretty sure almost every single one of our kids thought it would be a good idea to be born at 1 o'clock in the morning, or us to go to the hospital one and then eventually be born 12 hours later. So coming in and out of hospital parking lots is normal. I've gone out to my car to grab stuff and work for a little bit while my wife has been in labor, but not like she's going to have it. You know what I mean? It takes like 12 hours sometimes. So seeing somebody sit in their car, especially these days, playing on their phone or doing work is not out of the ordinary. So consider hospital parking lots. Okay, now you know the 10 regular places where you can 10 best
And use
places.
the channel.
Another video, 10 best places if you're well, not a fugitive, because I don't want you to do anything bad, but if you're an intelligence officer or someone that needs to evade for a correction.
Okay. And so we'll go back. He's going back without going to the channel. Come on, baby. Jason Hansen, that's his name. So, guys, that is some creators who has making a start making a living with helping with the stuff that they have learned. Um, a lot of times we can't help our situation. We can't sit and complain. We have to find a way through it. We have to find a way to keep going, you know. Um, when when things look uh when things look hard, like when you feel like you're in a valley, all you can do is go up. I mean, that's at least you can just go up. And it's a lot of times it's better than depending on people. It's better than, you know, sometimes it's good to go back home, go back to stay with mom and help her out instead of you know, if you can't if you can, or with dad or whatever, help him out as opposed to giving the money to the land resource or the trailer park or taking the chance of moving about stealth camping or whatever. But if you have that option, but if you don't have that option, then these are a couple of options in your car. And then, like I said, there are people who are renting space, a lot more people in their homes, in their apartments, because they do need a roommate for these times. So that's something else that you can easily look up in your city. Go to your Instead of looking it up broadly online, go to the I know people don't get paper newspapers anymore, but go to the local newspaper online or the Metro Times, and you'll be able to see what's available in your city or Angie's List, Craigslist, and see what's available in your city for renting. And like I said, new times calls for new measures. And like I said, this is a whole new world. We're in a new world. The world has changed. And the best thing we can do is keep changing with it, keep going, keep on moving, don't stop. Soul to soul. Y'all remember that song? Keep on moving, don't stop. No. And so anyway, I have a lot of business to take care of today. I have some company coming in and everything from out of town. So I will be seeing you guys in the morning. I hope you guys join me. I'm only leaving offline about 10, 15 minutes early today. I hope you enjoyed Through the Eyes of an Empath. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about angels. We're going to be talking about angels tomorrow. Angels who do live in the world, just like people like to talk about the other, category. But Instead of talking about that, I'm going to be talking about angels and how they affect our daily lives and what their mission is here on earth. And so I hope you guys join me. I hope you have a great day. I love you, and God loves you so much more. Peace.